Congratulations. In true Oprah fashion, I declare, you get a brilliant, you get a brilliant, you get a brilliant. We are all brilliant. And no, this isn't a reward for participation, although I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To quote Oprah Winfrey, TED is where brilliant people go to hear other brilliant people share their ideas. Thank you for being here. Being among a crowd like this typically causes one of two reactions. The first reaction is to think, wow, I am among brilliant people. Ugh, you are my competitors in the race to learn more, earn more, achieve more, and influence more people. I better get to work. The second reaction is to think, wow, I am among brilliant people. Yes, you are like-minded people in the race to learn more, earn more, achieve more, and influence more people. I better get to collaborating. Now, I'm not going to call you out for feeling one way or another, but if your first thought was to network with the crowd, let's talk. I believe collaboration is the way to our abundant future. There's a place for competition, yes. There's a place for competition too, as it spurs us to greatness. Team sports wouldn't be what they are without a competitive edge. Although, I'll say, my experience with sports didn't go so well. Nonetheless, I finished the season, and I learned there are rewards for participating on a team, whether the team wins or loses. For me, in my sporting career, the reward? Survival. I stuck it out through the season. I made some new friends, and I learned that I didn't want to participate in either of those sports ever again. Ever. To me, being on a team is more about camaraderie, achieving collective goals, and pushing forward together than it is about winning or losing. In addition, teams make up larger centers of influence when you consider the specific sport and the industry at large. I mean, look at the influence NFL players are having on the discussion around American culture. That's the kind of collaboration that initiates change. Yes, it can be uncomfortable, but change does not materialize without disruption. Change makers use collaboration for the greater good. And it's collaboration that doesn't pave the way for one person or a team, but for an entire collective. I'm talking about radical collaborative stuff like Colin Kaepernick taking a stand, or rather, a knee, to initiate a movement. Even better, the nourishment and goodwill from that stand reach far beyond Kaepernick, his team, and NFL audiences. It has the capacity to change the world for the better. That's exactly how you bridge the gaps and help an industry save the world. I'm guilty of crying out for attention, begging to be the first, the best, and the most remarkable in a crowd. However, a conversation in an employer's copy room changed the way I looked at competition forever. The year was 1996. I was a disgruntled marketing employee. One of my peers was promoted to a job I didn't even want, but it rubbed me the wrong way. I was jealous and envious. A wise copywriter by the name of Sue McKenna told me something I will never forget. She said, "Melissa, her success does not take away from yours." Amazing. I was blown away, and to be quite honest, a bit perturbed to be knocked off my high horse in such a kind and loving way. It honestly had not occurred to me that as peers, we could have individual success without negatively impacting one another. I mean, every year when I got my exemplary performance review, I was reminded that giving me a higher raise meant giving someone else a lower merit increase, or none at all. In this way, corporate employees are reminded of scarce resources instead of being encouraged to tap into their own limitless potential. I wondered if there was another path to abundance by pursuing this potential. After 25 years in corporate life, with 10 years managing competitive intelligence, of all things, my job elimination offered me an opportunity to put that theory to the test. At the time, I was severely ill. I was managing 2 concurrent chronic illnesses. I was heavily medicated, recovering from severe depression, and grieving from losing both of my parents. I connected with others online, and I found healing. Through this, I learned the value of community, support, and sharing your vulnerable truth in a way that empowers others. I became a certified life coach, and I put my corporate skills to work as an entrepreneur. In the same way we heal our hearts and community, I found our businesses to succeed in partnership with one another. I still rely heavily on competitive intelligence to research the marketplace, except now, instead of using the data to recreate what others have done, I'm more likely to ask them to collaborate instead. You know what's cooler? The people I partner with are the real MVPs. Take my connection, John Henderson, for example. When I asked him if I could replicate and market a process we co-created, instead of saying, "No, that's mine, you can't clone it," he said, "Sure, I hope you make $1 million." It was a transparent request rooted in integrity, followed by a gracious response from a man who knows there's more than enough business for everyone. That's how you make a solo performance function like an orchestra. Partners help us go further than we can go alone. Collaboration can initiate a movement and change lives. It begins with this question: what if, instead of doing our own individual things, we sought counsel from one another to conceive and architect something even greater than we could imagine on our own? Collaboration makes it possible to create an amazingly beautiful mosaic with the brilliant perspectives of those who've gone before and those who stand next to us, instead of using the dull, flat color of one brush. Collaboration adopts empathy and allows us to work with people in a way that brings their whole selves to the table. Now, I'm not just talking about the acceptable parts of themselves, like their intelligence, professionalism, and candor. I'm talking about working with people in a transparent way that enables them to be authentic and connect from heart to heart. I love meetings that begin with a hug over a handshake. Meetings are even better when they include dancing. Or at least music. You should try it sometime. The most profound benefit of collaboration expands our influence as networks combine. When this happens, we have greater credibility, increased opportunities and possibilities, and amazing synergy. Here's an example of the way LinkedIn connections multiply first-degree contacts. I've mutually connected with 569 people on LinkedIn. First and second-degree connections represent people connected to those initial 569 peers. This results in an expanded network of 1,188,521 first and second-degree connections. While that's spectacular, it is not to be confused with the chart shown in your prepubescent human development course. Through 6 degrees of separation. Yeah, I'm going there. We find that 5 mutual connections, you ready for this? Leads to more than 3 million indirect estimated sex partners. So now that you're all attempting to calculate your indirect sexual exposure, I invite you to stay with me because this dance is going to get a lot more interesting, okay? When you compound our connections from social media and partners of all kinds, the span of our influence is both exponential and profound. The next question for me is, what will we do with this influence? How will we capitalize it? Are we going to hoard it or share it? The thing about being a person of influence is people want to connect with you. Influence, it's magnetic. When you develop authority and lead with integrity, others trust you. Referrals are abundant, and it can be nearly impossible to keep up with the demand. Referrals also make closing the sale easier. According to Influitive, 70% of business-to-business companies note referrals convert better and close faster than any other lead. 84% of B2B buyers begin with a referral, and data asserts peer recommendations influence over 90% of all buying decisions. Now, if that's not a reason enough to collaborate, I bet banking lots of referral fees from affiliate sales would be. Demand from referrals is also why one of my business connections, Paul Tokuzolu's goals, are collaborative. His vision is so large that he not only desires to build his dream company, but he intends to employ his entire network with their dream jobs as well. Talk about a dream job. Ellen DeGeneres has the right idea, dancing with her audience. She gets them smiling, connecting, warmed up, energy flowing, and excited about what's to come. And Ellen certainly has the corner when it comes to collaboration with partnerships, sponsors, and inviting others to be kind to one another. To me, collaboration, it's a lot like dancing. First, it's a blast. And you can't go wrong being in the presence of a disco ball. While dancing, sometimes you lead and sometimes you follow. Other times you just get jiggy with it. And there's no rhyme or reason to the steps. The important thing is this. You're out there on the floor, enjoying yourself, making the most of your time, and shaking what you've got. Sometimes you're in the middle of the circle, strutting your stuff, while a league of people surround you and cheer you on. Most times, you're part of the circle, creating a net of support for the person in the middle while they shine. There's nothing better than being supported and supporting others at the same time. While there's nothing wrong with dancing alone, I should know, I do it often, there's something beautiful about dancing with others. Dance and collaboration invite community and movement through mutual support and collective benefit. Remember those high school cliques you couldn't infiltrate if you wanted to? Not that you wanted to, of course. But I've found they can be avoided entirely on social media and in the right dance clubs. Some say those you meet on social media aren't real connections. I disagree. It's safe to say that joining Facebook saved my life. It's the reason I'm here today, literally and figuratively. You see, after spending most of my life depressed and 7 years in bed, Facebook connected me to others. I joined some groups, and I saved some lives using nothing but my personal experiences and my words. At the same time, the people I met online saved my life, and sometimes my ass, over and over again. I've also stepped out from behind my computer and enjoyed personally meeting with people from across the US and the world. I've had countless eye-to-eye conversations with my Facebook friends. I've had meals with them. I've danced with them. I've joined them on adventures. I attended their wedding, took care of their pets and their child. I attended their book launch, brought birthday cheer, celebrated the holidays with them. I do business with them. I've hosted them in my home and helped them with emotional and financial support. Thank you. This is my friend Lori Wilcox. In 2013, we met in a Facebook group for empty nest moms. When all the other moms were complaining that their life was over because their children left for college, she and I were grateful our boys left home. Love you, buddy. The reason why we were grateful is because single moms so rarely have the luxury of a break. It takes a village to raise a child, and sometimes it takes a village to support a single mom with an empty nest. It wasn't long before we declared one another sisters from another mister and formed a group of moms who dance. Dancing was the medicine I needed to heal. Our group of very connected moms talked daily, laughed constantly, danced weekly, and supported one another at all times. We overcame depression. We managed divorces and single parenthood. We navigated relationships, faced down addictions, and simply became stronger and more beautiful every day. In terms of dancing, connections are just as easy as social media, if not easier. When you see a crowd of people dancing in a circle, do you appreciate them from afar, or do you join them? Yes! Thanks to a like-minded friend, I've done something most people wouldn't consider. My friend Becky Bailey and I crashed a neighboring dance circle and got down right in the middle of it. Instead of shaming us and kicking us out as we feared, the circle was elated, a bit surprised, but also welcoming and generous with support. That's exactly what collaboration feels like, even when it's done with complete and total strangers. I invite you to dance. I invite you to collaborate with friends and strangers alike. This world is so small, and online connections turn strangers into friends and dance partners. Fear says we won't be accepted, it won't go well, or it couldn't possibly be that easy. I disagree. We are powerful creators and connectors who can help others live in ways that are joyful, abundant, and free. When wondering if connected, heart-led people can change the world, it's easy to think, I can't do it alone. Collaboration gives you purpose, power, and influence. Collaboration invites you to reject your doubts and band with others to confront those who say it can't be done and instead ask, why the fuck not? Let's dance.